world least cares about him, Colby Covington returns, has an interview, and waffles about some nonsense. Honestly, the shtick is getting really old at this point. Just fight Colby. Just fight Ian Garry. That's the fight everyone wants to see. Just fight Ian Garry. Don't say, I want this fight, that fight, this fight. No one cares. Just fight Ian Garry. Why aren't you fighting Ian Garry, Colby Covington? It's been so long. We thought this fight was supposed to happen halfway through the year. But then Ian Garry fights MVP, and then you're still sitting out there. And the reasons you give to why you were sitting out there are nonsense. Just say you were hurt. Say you've gotten too much money at this point. Say you're too busy at the poker tables, taking deals from the mafia. Don't act, let's just get into it straight away. But Colby Covington, it seems like, loses all relevancy, comes back, lies, then goes away for another 6 months. That's like the classic Colby Covington, like, cycle nowadays. It's his trend cycle. Like, he comes back, gives an interview, has Donald Trump in his background, and now that Donald Trump has won the election, I'm guessing he's just, like, on top of the world. He's like, okay, time to give an interview. And, let's just get straight into it. Why haven't you come back, Colby Covington, yet?
What's this break been like for you, man?
Yeah, so why, the most important reason why is because everything I do is for God and country. That's more important than my own selfish agenda to go win UFC fights and be a world champion in the UFC. That doesn't matter if we don't have a country to...
First of all, you've had many chances to win a title, and you're not good enough for it. So it's not like, oh, you know what, I could be world champion right now, but I have better things on my plate. No, you don't. You're not good enough, okay? Get off the pokies.
Live in. So the most important thing that has been in my life the last, 8-9 months is the campaign trail, making out there, being a little tiny part of the Trump campaign and trying to help him get elected any way possible. So, I was traveling with the campaign a lot, and I was obviously still getting healthy from my broken foot. But, first and foremost is God and country and putting the power back in the people's hands. That's how the forefathers.
First of all, what do you mean you were busy hanging out with the Ronald McDonald? Why? No one cares. I'd highly doubt you influenced anyone to go that way. Because if there's any person in the entirety of America that, voted based on Colby Covington, you're an idiot, man. This is all a shtick. He doesn't know anything about nothing. So why would you be following Colby Covington? He's an idiot. I mean, I used to love Colby Covington, but honestly, nowadays, it's like he's never fighting and he's always giving some nonsense reason to why he isn't fighting. And I highly doubt he was with him. I highly doubt Ronald McDonald was having Colby Covington as part of his posse, asking Colby Covington, oh, so what do you think we should do for this campaign? Colby Covington, like, with his little glasses on, a little notes in his hand, like, going through him, giving Donald Trump ideas. I highly doubt that was happening. I doubt it took that much of your time that you had to be with him 24/7. Just checking his, like, social media trends, seeing what's coming up and whatnot, looking over his, like, timetable on your little tablet. Lies.
In America intended it to be is for the people to have the power, not big government. We want less government, and we want more rights to the people, our constitutional rights that, our forefathers fought for. So that was most important. Now we've gotten that out of the way. We've won the election. We've taken the country back. America's first again. Now I can resume business. I'm excited, man. Me and Hunter have sat down. We've talked about a couple different options. And, I'm excited to get back in there. First quarter of next year, 100%, I'm coming back to the UFC Octagon to unleash chaos and give the fans, a show which they deserve.
Said a lot of we there. There's no we here, Colby Covington. You are a fan of him. That's all you are. Dana White has some power with him. Obviously, they're good friends. You're nothing, right? Donald Trump was embarrassed after your last performance when he was leaving after you got your ass kicked by Leon Edwards. And then you embarrassed him by stopping him mid-walk and being like, no, wait up, America. I couldn't think of anything. No one cares. Let's move on to more lies from Colby Covington. Listen, I have no content, and for some reason YouTube has completely decided to kill... Oh, what the fuck? YouTube has decided to completely kill my channel by giving it no impressions, so this is what I'm making now. I don't care. I'm just making these videos for myself.
Offered. I told the UFC that, I was willing to step up to the plate. And, I would love to save the show and put on a good show for the fans. They pay their hard-earned money for, big mega fights. That they need a mega fight. That's not a mega fight. They need someone who's going to put asses in seats and entertain people. So, I was excited. I wanted the fight and I asked for it, but
he's talking about the fight against Shavkat Rakhmonov at UFC 310. As you have seen, the main event has fallen off. Apparently, Colby Covington wanted to get it on with Shavkat. I highly doubt it. He was ducking him after his last fight. He wanted Wonder Boy coming off a loss instead of Shavkat Rakhmonov. So probably the UFC's thinking, okay, this guy's already ducked him. We're not going to offer him the fight. And even if they did, why would they offer Colby Covington the title shot? Like, this guy has lost to the champion decisively, other than the first time around against Usman. Almost every single time he's fought him. Why are they thinking, oh, you know what we need? We need Colby Covington back in the title picture. Nobody cares. No one is giving a shit about Colby Covington right now. Fight Ian Garry. That's the only fight that makes sense for you right now. It's the biggest fight you could possibly do right now. If you beat Ian Garry, you are a hero to everybody. Ian Garry is seen as a massive cuck. You can afterwards go on about your Ronald McDonald rant and just say this, that, greatest president, we sent the British back, I don't know, colonization, something like that. But no, this is the route he's taken, lying about where he was for the last 8 months.
I think they have other plans. But, I'm still in their plans. I'm still the biggest star in the division. Big business is going to get done, and I'm going to get that back to that title before next summer.
He is not getting back to the title before next summer. And he is not getting back to the title after one win. I'm telling you that now. There's no way he beats Jeff Neal and then gets a title shot again. Because honestly, that's where he's tracking right now. It looks like he won't find any contenders. He just wants the worst opponent with... Almost threw up just thinking about Jeff Neal. He wants the worst opponent with the highest number next to his name. And that's apparently Jeff Neal. But I don't think he actually said Jeff Neal. But that's what he's like. Who is there?
How do you think that fight between you and him would have gone if he would have fought him at 310?
Yeah, I think I can walk him down and pressure him, and he's not going to like my pressure. He doesn't do very well with southpaws. We saw how he did with the bus boy, Jeff Neal. So that was a very competitive fight. So, he hasn't fought a top contender yet. He's fought some gatekeepers of the division, some guys right on the cusp of the top 10, but he's never fought a champion like me and a guy who's just going to come at him for 5 straight rounds and just walk him down. So I think I match up.
Newsflash, Colby Covington. If he fights you, he still wouldn't have fought anyone of the top level. You know why? Because you're not in the top 5 no more. You've dropped. Other people that have been more active than you and have been more impressive than you have ended up getting wins. You, on the other hand, have been sitting out the majority of your prime. You are 36 years old, I think, at this point. You're either turning 36 or you are 36 right now. I think you might be 36. That's the stage of your career. You are the has-been legend that these guys are going to make their name off of now. I don't know why you still think you're a young gun and you're irrelevant. You're acting like the division, like you're the main character of the welterweight division. You're not. All these contenders, they've taken the spotlight at this stage. The stage you're at is like the stage where you almost enter a home away from your family because they don't want to live with you and you have no kids or a wife. Sure, you might be a good-looking guy and you can get anyone you want, allegedly, but it's not looking good. Like, this is like the age you've begun to go on a slide and eventually exit the UFC. Is that why Colby Covington hasn't been fighting? He knows that, like, okay, so, I'm about to go on a slide, so if I fight once a year, I can make as much money as possible while still having some name value, and I can delay the slide I have outside the top 10. Also, the Shavkat thing is nonsense, by the way. Like, you didn't want to fight him before. He'd beat you up. Anyway, let's go on. Now he talks about Ian Garry, the fight that everybody wants to see. Colby Covington finally addresses it. For some reason, I can't.
You said that you refused to fight him. Take me through this whole situation, man.
He shared a contract? You sure about that?
Well, I'm not sure what he shared. I'm trying to clear that up. What was going on with that?
Come on, bro. Don't be putting no fake news out there, my brother. I thought you were better than that. I thought...
The cringe Colby Covington, like, the way he used to talk, I was always kind of entertaining because it was just so goofy and it was just like... It was something fun to add to these shows, but nowadays I'm looking at this, like, the world has gotten more based. This cringy, listen to me, brother. Like, dude, what are you on about? You ain't like that. He ain't from the streets, you know what I mean? He's probably living in, like, a gated community right now. And there's nothing wrong with living in a gated community. I'm just saying, like, the way Colby Covington talks, he's talking like he's gonna beat somebody up. He ain't beat nobody up in his life. And that includes inside the octagon. I'm just joking. He has beaten people up, but he's not lying. Ian Garry has made it very public. He wants to fight you, Colby Covington. Extremely public. He's gone out of his way and called you out, called you a bitch. And you've made some, and all you've done is call him a cuck and say you're not fighting him because he hasn't deserved it. You're a bitch, Colby Covington. Even though I don't like Ian Garry. But you know what? Ian Garry is providing with more entertainment and more things to talk about around the water cooler than Colby Covington is nowadays.
I'm trying to get a confirmation of what's going on. Tell me, what happened? Is there a contract? What did he share? What happened in the whole situation? Give us some light.
He didn't.
The fake laugh is insane. Like his eyes were so wide open. He's like, oh shit, he's putting me on the spot here. Trying to make something up. Look at this. The hand on the chin is always a giveaway to someone lying. You know, like when you're kind of enclosed away to like a lot. Like when you're open with someone, you don't care how your arms are. When you're lying, you're thinking about where your arm needs to go. You're like, like no normal human being is just rubbing their chin like that, like an evil cartoon villain.
Didn't share anything. There is no contract. I mean, if there was a contract, he'd be plastering it over the internet, and the whole world would see it. He'd be rubbing it in his face. This fight has never been talked about, so I don't know why you're saying there's no contract. If there was a contract, he would be showing it. He would be putting it everywhere. He's irrelevant. He hasn't done anything to deserve a fight of this magnitude. So the fight's never been offered. I don't know why he's talking about that. I've been offered 3 other fights. They weren't him. They didn't have his name on it. So there was no contract offered, and he's still a cuck.
He may as well be cracking his knuckles there. Like, he just managed to say along without saying anything really. All he was going to say was, no, you know what? I haven't been offered the contract. That was the extent of what he said, but he dragged it out a little bit, waved his hands around in like a lying manner, and he was definitely lying. He may as well be like on screen just cracking his knuckles like, Ian Garry contract? Why didn't he show it? Why was he doing that? I don't get it. Clearly, the Ian Garry fight was probably offered to him. The UFC is not stupid. They know that's the fight everybody's talking about. Nobody is clamoring for Colby Covington versus Usman 3. Colby Covington versus... Man, it's hard to think of... Oh, you know what? Jack Della Maddalena is a fun fight. Speaking of which, he does mention that he might be fighting Jack Della Maddalena, which would somewhat salvage his career if he can beat him. Because that's an awesome fight in my opinion. Let's listen to it.
Were the 3 names the UFC threw your way?
Yeah, who were the 3 names, Colby?
Yeah, so, you know, we've been talking about, you know, this fight with Jack Maddalena. I think it makes a lot of sense. You know, he got a big win in my hometown in Miami last time he was out here. So, you know, he has a little bit of a name out here, and, you know, he's undefeated. He's hungry. He's fearless. You know, he's an exciting fighter. So I think that's a fight that the fans will be intrigued with. I think it's a high-level fight. It's a top contender fight that establishes who's the next contender for the belt. So, you know, that's a fight that's out there. Another fight, you know, that
First of all, that was probably all true. I think Colby Covington would want to fight Jack Della Maddalena. He fought Gilbert Burns not recently. It happened. It was his last fight, at least. And Gilbert Burns controlled him for 2.5 rounds almost, basically. He was winning 2.5 rounds. Jack Della catches him with a knee. Just bad timing for Gilbert Burns, and he beats him. KOs him. I think Colby Covington saw that fight and thought to himself, you know what? I could do that to him. If I wanted to, I could probably take him down, control him for a while. It's a favorable matchup for me. He's a striker. He's not a wrestler. He's not a grappler. I can get him. And you know what? The entire time when he was talking just then, he wasn't doing that thing with his hands anymore. He had his arms down, was confident, speaking normally. Just one of the tells that you can tell someone is not bullshitting the entire thing. He was telling the truth in that case. Good on Colby Covington. But now, this is the thing with Colby Covington. He will... Awesome fight, by the way. Badass Colby Covington if he takes the fight with Jack Della Maddalena. But then he wants... This next person he mentions, why is he looking for these gimmick easy fights? No one wants to see this. This fight hasn't even crossed my mind. But this is what Colby Covington is petitioning for. Listen.
That's being talked about, you know, that this guy's running his mouth a little bit, which is weird because every time I see this guy, he puts his eyes down and he walks past me like a little bitch. But now he wants to throw stones in the media. I don't know if you've seen Patty Pimblett. He's been throwing some stones. Have you seen that?
Wait, what happened?
Why why does Colby Covington seem so infatuated with fighting lightweights? Rafael dos Anjos, Jorge Masvidal wants to fight Dustin Poirier. You name it. If you were at one point at 155, Colby Covington is calling you out.
And he's been throwing stones at. What's been going on with this?
Yeah, man, he's been running his mouth. He's been running his mouth in the media. He's saying, "Oh, I'll go up to welterweight. I'll fight Colby." So this and that. I mean, of course he wants to come up to welterweight and fight me or Conor. You know, the two biggest names in the UFC right now in the welterweight division. So, you know, of course he'd be honored and be lucky to get this fight. But I think we need to get it going. You know, I don't like it when people talk big to the media and don't back up their.
First of all, I don't think I've heard Paddy Pimblett talk trash about Colby Covington, and even if he has, no one cares. No one's looking for Paddy Pimblett versus Colby Covington as the next super fight the UFC can make. No one cares. Paddy Pimblett is doing his own thing at 155. Colby's doing his own thing at 170. Move on. Whoever, the Submission Radio fella, he just needs to be like, okay, Cole. They never call him out. Submission Radio have like this really interwoven relationship with Colby Covington where they seem to be the only people to get an interview out of him. They need to be real with him and be like, dude, shut up. What are you on about? Like, some of these interviewers have no spine whatsoever. And don't get me wrong, if I was interviewing Colby Covington and I knew that if I talked shit to him, he would never come back, I would probably be spineless as well. But have some, like, authority, have some power. You can't just be getting walked over by Colby Covington, lying out of his teeth about a Paddy Pimblett fight that may or may not happen. Which won't happen, by the way. This is just bullshit.
Talk. Everything I say in the media, I talk the talk and I walk the walk. I back up.
Does he? I swear to God, the only thing he says in media is, I think I beat Kamaru Usman. I think I beat Leon Edwards. The most obvious losses you will ever see in your life. You got clearly lost to both of those guys. Actually, I have a really good case to beating Leon Edwards. No, you don't. My guy.
Everything I say. So, you know, we need to...
Actually, does he? One more thing, by the way. Before every fight, I feel like Colby Covington is saying he's going to pummel his opponent, destroy them, retire them, get them out of the UFC, break them, KOs. Never happens, it feels like. I mean, they're not bad fights. They're kind of entertaining most of the time, just because of the personalities behind them. But for the most part, we're seeing Colby Covington come in there and be like, second round KO, I'm gonna break his face. And then, like, the second round is literally him holding him against the cage, going for a single leg, transitioning to a double leg, taking his back, and then controlling him. No significant damage, and he never walks the walk, it feels like. But then afterwards, he lies and says, I nearly finished Jorge Masvidal. His eyes were rolling back to the back of his head. And all that stuff where he just lies, and all these interviews let him get away with it because they want him back.
To hold him accountable for his words. He's saying a lot of things, you know, he's mumbling, fumbling with that stupid UK accent, you know, and that stupid dumb bowl cut. He looks horrendous with that haircut, but...
I'm going to cut off the trash talk here for now. Nothing of real substance. He looks horrible with the bowl cut. Real high-level trash talking. Alright, he continues on with the Paddy Pimblett slander.
Paddy, what's your message to him if he sees this? And what would you do to him in that octagon if he did come up to fight you?
He'd never fight again. It'd be the last fight that he'd ever have in the octagon.
Here he goes again. Oh, if he fights me, he'll never fight again. It'll be his last ever fight. I'll beat him up so badly with my KO power and high volume punches. Dude, shut up. Like, I know Colby Covington is a great fighter. He's fun to watch. I mean, he's not fun to... he's fun to watch if you like personalities in the MMA. I think he's fun to watch, but a lot of people don't think so. But can you stop with the lies? Like, every time it feels like he's losing star power by lying to the fans and saying, I'm going to finish him. He's never fighting again. Only so many times can you cry wolf before everyone just thinks, okay, this will go to a decision. Unless the other person finishes Colby Covington. But he has a great chin, unfortunately. I mean... I like Colby still, but just what happened, man? Why are you lying every interview?
Beat him silly from pillar to post. I beat him so bad it'd be one of the worst beatings in UFC history. I don't think, you know, the Athletic Commission would be able to sanction a fight for him ever again after the damage I would do to Paddy fucking Pimblett. The guy's an absolute joke, and it's just hilarious because last time I saw him fight...
The Athletic Commission wouldn't be able to commission the fight with Paddy Pimblett going on with his career. Let that sink in. What are you going to do? You're going to hold his leg for too long? Maybe, like, he pulls a hamstring muscle? Like, dude, come on. Be realistic. Paddy Pimblett will be turning around in 3 months. It'll be the quickest turnaround of his entire career. if he fights you. Like, let's be honest here, no damage will be taken. Nothing, no nothing. I mean, I don't remember the last guy Colby put a beating on. I guess Damon Maya in some ways. But even then, I mean, that went to a decision. No KO powers, pillow hands Colby Covington, telling people they'll never fight again. And I get it, like, if you're someone that's fighting Colby, you'll be like, okay, he'll take me down, he'll beat me. But you're not thinking, okay, I wonder if I'll be able to turn around in 3 months.
He's walking down, literally walked by me like 3 times. Every time puts his head straight down, doesn't make any eye contact. But now he wants to talk a big game. So
that sounds like Colby Covington. Let's be honest. Colby Covington. I've seen the video of him just putting his head down, walking past Kamaru Usman, and Kamaru Usman comes up to him, and Colby's like, "Back off, Junior," when the security's already there. Kind of seems like he's projecting. He's projecting his own personality onto others.
Patty, if you're really about that life, come see me. Come see the King of Miami. Call Hunter. Oh, you know what? You probably don't even have the boss's number. You probably have to go through like the matchmakers or something. Don't worry, I'll put in a call to the boss. We can get this fight going if you're really about that. And you know what? More importantly, you don't got to cut weight. I know you're a big guy. You're bigger than me anyways. So, hey, come up to welterweight, eat as much food as you want, and bring your A game and pack a lunch because it's going to be the last time you ever fight again.
Pack a lunch because it's the last time you'll ever fight again. Just let that sink in. Amazing trash talking for Colby Covington. Continues to revolutionize the game of trash talking and building fights. I'm lying, obviously. That was the greatest sarcasm ever told on this channel, which no one will hear because YouTube won't push my content. I don't know why. I thought I was doing so well. Anyway, we get to Colby Covington calling out Themba Gorimbo. This is the stage of his career he's at. He wants easy fights like Themba Gorimbo. You may as well have called out Jeff Neal, man. Like, that was probably would have gained a little bit more respect than Themba Gorimbo.
This kid Themba, you know, the kid is such a joke. I mean, he tried to do the same thing with me that he did with The Rock. He wanted to use our name and our brands to build himself up and put himself over because he hasn't done anything of merit in the company. You know, he literally, people only know him because The Rock gave him a house. And as soon as The Rock gave him a house, then he started just acting, his ego became so big and like, he thinks he's the shit now. And like, he used me the same way he used The Rock. He used me by saying my name in the media. Oh, Colby's getting me dinners. He's such a nice guy. I told him, I specifically said.
It's funny how Colby Covington can spin some weird narratives to build fights. You gotta respect the guy at least. He was calling Wonder Boy a PEDO. And now he's calling Themba a cloud chaser, I guess, because he went out of his way into the Colby Covington in my time of need, was buying me dinners, he was helping me out, give me some rations, you know. Like, times were tough. I needed a toothbrush. Colby Covington let me borrow his own toothbrush for a week. And Colby Covington's taking massive offense to it. He's like, okay, I don't like that. You can't talk nice about me. Because, like, I guess it goes against his gimmick, but I always thought Colby Covington's gimmick was just being super, super patriotic in one direction. And that direction is that way. Right. But I guess, like, I think people liked Colby Covington. Like, they just liked what he brought to the table. I don't think if people hear that you're a nice person, Colby, anyone's gonna hate you. And no one was expecting him to call out Themba Gorimbo. Recently coming off a win against Nico Price he is. Jesus. Let's continue.
Said, hey, Themba, I'm doing this out of my kindness to my heart. Do not mention anything to the media. I don't want this out there. I don't parade around and do nice things for people and then want to advertise that. That's not who I am. That's so fake. You see all these fighters, oh, they go to the children's clinics or they go to some good deed and then they advertise all about it.
I've heard enough. It's just him bullshitting his way into a, hyping up a fight, by the way. But now, he gets into Dustin Poirier. Apparently him versus Dustin Poirier was a fight that was going to happen. Another lie, in my opinion. I don't think the UFC is clamoring to make Colby versus Dustin Poirier. But...
yeah, absolutely. Their plan, they wanted that. They've wanted that for many pay-per-views now for a long time. This feud goes way back. You know, he has a part in getting me kicked out of the old gym and you know, just a little crybaby with feelings. And then all the things he said, oh, it's on site. When I see you, it's on site. You know, he made all these fake accusations and all these lies up about me, you know, saying I'm a bad person, this and that. No, dude, I'm not a bad person. You're.
So Dustin Poirier created lies about you being a bad person, which you don't like. Okay, I understand no one likes that. But then why do you have a problem with Themba Gorimbo painting you in the best light possible? Like, he painted you like the savior of his life. I had nothing. And then a knight in shining armor gleamed his light onto me. And I looked up. And it was Colby Covington. It's basically what Themba Gorimbo was saying. And Colby Covington was like, no, you can't say that about me. You're being too nice. How dare you praise me? But then with Dustin Poirier, apparently the other side of it doesn't matter either. Apparently Colby Covington would rather just nobody talk about him. Which is crazy considering the personality that he's built up is made to be talked about. So yeah, Colby Covington just picking fights with himself, it feels like. No one cares. He's making up these narratives. No one really wants to see Dustin Poirier versus Colby anymore. I'm sorry, Colby, but you're kind of at a stage in your career where I'm kind of like, let's feed Colby to Jack Della Maddalena, Ian Garry. Or not even feed him. Let's see if they can get over the Colby Covington hump. Because, like, let's be honest here. I know you were saying that other people are gatekeepers. You are honestly at this point a gatekeeper to the top 5. If someone beats you, I can even see them getting a title shot. Based on your name value and what you bring to the table. So I'm giving you praise here, Colby. Don't go after me. Not that you will. Not that you'll see this video. Because YouTube's gonna hide it. I don't know why. What else? What's better content than the one I'm making? Come on, guys. Who's with me? Leave a like.
You're a bad person. You pretend to be a good person on camera, but you're actually a piece of shit off camera. I've seen the way he interacts with fans and, like, turns down pictures and acts like he's too good for people. You know, another guy, like the guy I was just talking about, just the ego got to him. You know, the money, the fame, you know, and it got to his head too much and he forgot who he was. So the UFC has approached me with that fight. That's the fight I was holding out and hoping for because I know the fans want to see that fight. It's an exciting fight. It'll be literally a hellfire fight. We're going to fight fire with fire. It's going to
Hellfire fight. That's his definition. His definition of a hellfire fight is Dustin Poirier trying to KO Colby Covington, Colby Covington shooting in double legs. And then afterwards saying, well, you know, I nearly finished him in the 4th when I had him in that heel hook, you know? I don't think there's anything else to talk about. That was it. He is being delusional. Why is he going after lightweights? It feels like every single fight he's going after lightweights, going after this guy, lying about wanting to fight Shavkat. There's no way you were offered the Shavkat fight. Jack Della Maddalena, I think, telling the truth. Why is he trying to pick fights with Paddy Pimblett? Lying about Ian Garry. Like, let's be honest, Ian Garry wants to fight you. He's not scared of... And I'm not trying to big up Ian Garry or anything. I'm just saying, like, of the two, like, of all the cucking hate that Ian Garry gets, you gotta admit one thing. He's active. He's an active dude. This will be his 3rd fight at the end of the year, main eventing a fight night. Maybe Colby Covington will be in the crowd. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Ian Garry beats Joaquin Buckley. And then Colby Covington in the crowd doing the you know that thing he does? And that fight's made for Miami in March. Co-main event of a pay-per-view. 5 rounds. Ian Garry, Colby Covington. Let's do it. That's what I want to see. Colby Covington comes back, lies a bunch. Lies, is delusional, is hypocritical at points. Picking fights with fighters that have no shot at fighting him. Wanting to fight lightweights. Just basically Colby cycle all in one video. This is my video. Please, if you watch it, if YouTube doesn't just kill this video for no reason, I don't know why, then make sure to like and subscribe. I'm at 97 subscribers. I've fought the patriarchy and made it to 97 subscribers. Let's get me to 100, guys. Come on. I'm so close. Explode this video. Bye.